Welcome to the city of the future. The year is 2040, and over the last 30 years, the inhabitants of the metropolis you see have worked hard to overcome the pressures of a growing population, economic ups and downs, and a changing climate. Today, the city is a thriving metropolis, renowned throughout the world for its quality of life and close connection with nature. But how did they manage to get this done? I asked former mayor Mr. Ganesh, who is still honored today for his work in transforming the city.
It all started back in 2010, pretty soon after I had come into office. By then it was more or less obvious that we were poorly prepared to cope up with the range of pressures at hand, let alone the uncertainties of future. It was at this time that a group of concerned individuals came together to discuss the situation as a matter of urgency. It wasn't easy, but eventually the group succeeded in getting the City Hall to commit to a long-term strategy on sustainable urban development. Today our inhabitants enjoy efficient public transport, ample supply of renewable energy, large areas of green space, and crucially, as it turned out, an ability to balance urban life with a healthy water environment.
The former mayor implies that water played an important role in the transformation to a more sustainable city. I decided to find out more by speaking to Ms. Wallace, head of the Water and Urban Planning Integration team at City Hall.
Water was always a problem in the city. For years, we had to put up with winter floods, whereas during the summer, we had water cuts. Our rivers and lakes were more or less open sewers all year round. So, change was obviously needed. It was decided to move away from conventional water management and instead adopt a new and integrated approach that recognized the importance of managing the urban water cycle in its entirety.
This was interesting, but what does it mean in practice? Ms. Wallace continued.
Take the management of stormwater during heavy rainfall. In the past, this was removed from the city as rapidly as possible. But, thanks to the construction of storage ponds, infiltration channels, porous paving, and green roofs, stormwater is now a valued part of the urban landscape. Our sustainable urban drainage systems are designed to retain stormwater, to let it seep into the ground, and even to remove pollutants. Floods are now a thing of the past, and our rivers and lakes are no longer polluted by contaminated runoff. Rainwater itself is widely harvested and reused. This is done using simple water butts to collect water from roofs for gardening, as well as through more sophisticated systems where rainwater is used to flush toilets. It might sound odd, but we also value our wastewater. Urine is used as fertilizer, while gray water from showers and washing machines flushes our toilets. Even black water is no longer considered a waste product. Instead, this is treated and used in industry, in our city gardens, and to recharge our groundwater. The remaining sludge byproducts from the treatment process is also used to create biogas and biosolids for agriculture.
Obviously, such progress did not happen overnight. Was there a windfall of money that made all this possible, a revolution, a magic wand? I went back to former mayor Mr. Ganesh.
No, nothing like that. The biggest challenge was getting everybody to work together. But once we all realized that more coordination was needed, things started moving very quickly. A learning alliance was set up that included staff from utilities, decision makers, researchers from universities. All the key stakeholders were represented. This was coordinated right here at the City Hall, and together we agreed upon a water vision for the city, as well as a flexible strategy on how to go about achieving it. 30 years later, what you see around you now is pretty close to that vision what we had all those years ago.
And who can argue with this reality? Certainly, the inhabitants consider it a real privilege to live here. Everyone I have met and spoken to, from the very young to the very old, is well aware of the value that water brings in their city. And at the end of the day, all it took, more or less, was a handful of visionary, open-minded and determined people who questioned the conventional wisdom and set out to do something more sustainable. But what about the future? Challenges and needs are changing all the time, so rather than resting on its laurels, the city continues to work as hard as ever to improve its urban water management and quality of life.